There is a moment right before everything changes that feels exactly like every other moment before it. No music swells. No sign appears in the sky. No one calls to tell you that today is the day. That's the part nobody warns you about. The biggest transformation of your life will not announce itself. It will feel like a Tuesday. And that's exactly why most people miss it. They're waiting for a feeling to tell them it's time, when the truth is, the feeling never comes first. The decision comes first. The feeling follows, sometimes weeks later, sometimes months later, quietly, like a guest who was always coming but took the long way. Here's something that should disturb you a little. You have already lived through dozens of these moments. Mornings where you almost changed. Nights where you almost decided. And you let them pass because they didn't feel important enough. They felt too ordinary to be the beginning of something. So let me tell you about a man Jim Rohn used to describe in his seminars. Not a famous man, not a man with a statue anywhere. Just a man standing at a gas station one afternoon, filling up his tank next to another man he hadn't seen in years. Same age, same town, same starting point, more or less, a decade earlier. But one man's voice had a kind of exhaustion in it that comes from carrying something heavy for too long. And the other man stood a little taller, spoke a little slower, like someone who was no longer in a hurry because he had already arrived somewhere good. The tired one finally asked the question that had been sitting in his chest the whole conversation. What happened to you? Where did you go? And the other man said something that Rohn repeated for the rest of his life because it cut so close to the bone. Nothing happened to me. That's exactly the problem. Nothing happened to you either. We both just kept living the same day over and over for 10 years. I just decided somewhere in there to stop. Sit with that for a second. Because that's not a story about luck. That's not a story about opportunity. That's a story about repetition, about how an ordinary day, repeated enough times without examination, quietly becomes a decade, and how a single ordinary day, examined and changed even slightly, quietly becomes a different decade entirely. But here's what most people miss when they hear a story like this. They think the lesson is go work harder. It isn't. Rohn used to say discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. The man who changed didn't necessarily work more hours. He simply stopped lying to himself about what his daily choices were building. Because that's the part we don't want to look at directly. Every single day is laying a brick somewhere. You don't get to choose whether you're building. You only get to choose what you're building and whether you're paying attention while you do it. The scrolling at midnight, that's a brick. The promise to yourself you broke this morning without even noticing, that's a brick. The conversation you avoided because it was uncomfortable, that's a brick too. None of these bricks feel significant alone. That's the trap. That's exactly how a wasted life gets built, not through one catastrophic decision, but through thousands of forgettable ones, each one small enough to ignore. And this is where everything changes if you let it. Because if small neglected choices built the version of you that feels stuck right now, then small examined choices can unbuild it. Not through some explosive reinvention, through repetition in the opposite direction. Rohn had a phrase that sounds almost too simple to be powerful, and that's exactly why people underestimate it. Success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Nobody wants to hear that. We want the secret. We want the shortcut. We want the version of transformation that doesn't require Tuesday to be different. But the real truth is not what you expect. The real truth is that transformation was never about a dramatic moment. It was about what you're willing to repeat when no one is watching and nothing seems to be happening. Let me ask you something, and I want you to actually answer it, not just let it pass by like background noise. If you keep living exactly like this, same habits, same evasions, same version of discipline you've been practicing, where are you in 5 years? Not vaguely, specifically. What does your body feel like? What does your bank account say? What does your relationship with yourself sound like when you're alone with your thoughts at 11 at night? If the honest answer makes you uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is not your enemy. That discomfort is information. It's the part of you that already knows the current trajectory doesn't lead anywhere you actually want to go. Here's what happens next, and it's even more important than what came before it. Most people, when they feel that discomfort, do one of two things. They numb it, or they panic and try to overhaul their entire life in a single weekend. New gym membership, new diet, new everything. And 3 weeks later they're right back where they started. Except now they also feel like a failure on top of everything else. Rohn warned against both of these. He used to say that what is easy to do is also easy not to do. That's the cruelest, most honest sentence in all of personal growth. It is easy to read one page. It is easy to walk for 20 minutes. It is easy to tell one person the truth instead of the comfortable lie. Easy, not hard, but because it's easy, it's also easy to skip. And the tragedy of most lives isn't that people couldn't do the hard things. It's that they kept skipping the easy things every single day until the easy things accumulated into something that now looks impossibly hard. That gap between what was easy to do and what was actually done, that gap has a name. Rohn called it the gap that separates people who succeed from people who fail. And the gap doesn't form in one day. It forms in thousands of moments where someone chose comfort over a small, almost invisible act of discipline. Now here's the part that should genuinely shake something loose in you. That gap can close, not all at once, but it can close the same way it opened, one small, repeated choice at a time. The man at the gas station didn't fix 10 years in one decision. He fixed one day. Then he protected that one day by repeating it. Then one day became a pattern. Then a pattern became an identity. And eventually, identity built a different decade. This is where most motivational stories stop, because this is the comfortable part. Repeat good habits, change your life, the end. But Rohn understood something deeper, something almost spiritual about responsibility, and it's the part that actually hurts to hear. He said, you must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say change your circumstances. He didn't promise the wind would shift in your favor, or that the people around you would suddenly become supportive, or that the timing would finally feel right. He said change yourself, inside conditions that may never become convenient. That's the part people quietly resent, because it removes every excuse at once. It means the unfair boss doesn't excuse the wasted years. It means the difficult childhood doesn't excuse the wasted decade. It means the bad luck, the late start, the people who didn't believe in you. None of it excuses what you do with today, right now, with the hours you actually have. This isn't meant to bury you in guilt. It's meant to hand you back something far more valuable than an excuse, your authority over your own life. Because if your circumstances were the reason you stayed stuck, your circumstances would also have to be the reason you eventually change. And that means waiting for the world to fix itself before you can. But if you, your daily choices, your repeated disciplines, are the reason, then you were never actually trapped. You were just unpracticed. Think about how much time has already passed since you first felt the pull to become someone different. Not someone impressive to strangers. Someone you could respect in private, in the quiet moments when no one is performing for anyone. How many Tuesdays have slipped by exactly like this one almost did? This is the part where I'm supposed to tell you it's not too late, and it isn't, but I want to be more honest than that. Time lost is actually lost. Rohn never pretended otherwise. He said time is more valuable than money because you can get more money, but you cannot get more time. The years you spent repeating the wrong small choices are gone. They are not coming back disguised as wisdom. They're simply gone. But here's the strange mercy hidden inside that hard truth. The time ahead of you hasn't been spent yet. Not 1 hour of it. Which means the exact mechanism that wasted your past, daily repetition, is sitting right here, fully loaded, ready to build something else instead, starting with whatever is left of today. So the question was never really, is it too late? The question was always, what will you repeat now that you know what repetition does? Because transformation isn't a lightning strike. It's closer to erosion in reverse. The slow, deliberate construction of a life through choices so small they feel beneath your attention. Until one day, years from now, someone who knew the old version of you stands next to you somewhere ordinary. A gas station, a hallway, a quiet room, and asks what happened to you, where did you go? And maybe you'll tell them the truth. Nothing happened to me. I just stopped letting Tuesdays be empty. That's the whole secret, and it was never hidden. You walked past it every single day. The only thing standing between the life you're living and the one you keep imagining is the willingness to repeat one true thing. Deliberately, starting now. Long after it stops feeling exciting. Long after no one is watching, long enough that it quietly becomes who you are. Everything changes the moment you stop waiting for the feeling and start building the evidence instead. That moment doesn't have to announce itself. It can simply be this one.